Superman and Supergirl have been prominent DC heroes for decades, and everybody knows who they are and what they can do. But there is a significant difference between them, which is a relatively modern addition, but one that really helps separate these two characters and help Supergirl become a unique character rather than coming across as a female version of Superman. I mean, technically she is, but in terms of characterization, you still need to make them different. That's what I mean. Anyways, in 2004, DC decided to reintroduce Kara Zor-El in the comics, and they made some changes to her origin that pretty much became the new basis for the character. Initially, before the crisis happened, Supergirl was a younger cousin to Superman living in Argo City among the Kryptonian survivors. But when she was introduced once again to the DC universe post crisis, DC decided to make her chronologically older while also having her leave Krypton along with her cousin. But the twist is that she got her pod knocked off course, and this caused her to enter suspended animation and arrive on Earth years after Kal-El had grown up. DC has changed her origin a few times since then, but they have maintained this aspect of Supergirl's origin, and it's pretty much become the norm for Supergirl. It's a great change. It's such a fascinating change that really allows Supergirl to stand out and be a unique character of her own. Superman may be from Krypton, but he got to grow up on Earth and he had a healthy, normal life. And I mean, Superman is basically just a human being who happens to have extraordinary powers. But Kara, she grew up on Krypton. She had friends there, she had family there, and she had a life there. And she had to watch it all burn right before her. That's the kind of trauma that haunts you pretty much your entire life. And I think that's the real difference between them. For Kara, she has to adjust to life in a brand new world where she knows absolutely nobody because the only purpose that she had when she was sent to Earth was to protect and raise her baby cousin, and that isn't really necessary anymore. And this causes her to seek new purpose, and she eventually finds that and becomes her own kind of superhero as Supergirl. The thing about Kara is that she knows and remembers Krypton in a way that Clark never can. She considers herself a Kryptonian first and foremost. Clark was raised on Earth as a human and usually considers himself as a human being first more than embracing his Kryptonian heritage because he he was an infant when he came here, so he doesn't remember anything. The problem with all of this is that very few writers and very few DC adaptations actually acknowledge this difference. Kara's PTSD and her survivor's guilt are important aspects of her character, and they should be acknowledged and explored more often instead of being ignored to simply make Supergirl a female version of Superman, which a lot of adaptations have done. Kara learning to embrace Earth should be an important character arc for her. Superman typically fights to protect Earth because that's his world, that's his home. But for Kara, it's her adopted home. And for Kara, she fights to protect Earth mainly because she doesn't want anybody else to go through what she did. And for her, she lost her entire world in a minute. And I think that simple thing is just a fascinating aspect to her backstory. And I think that's part of what makes Supergirl such a fascinating and complex character, even though that's not been very apparent in a lot of her adaptations. And I hope future writers and future adaptations do more with that because Supergirl deserves a lot more, and I think she's pretty much awesome.